Hey Scott, how you doing?
Pretty good, Fred. How are you?
Thanks. Something I forgot to ask you last night. You went with Mo with the four. I know obviously you were missing two fours. Was that something that was just done out of circumstance because you were missing guys, or is that something you were actually trying to get a look at with Mo and Thomas playing together?
I mean, a combination of both, but it was mainly circumstance. With Rui out, and they have a bigger lineup in with Blake, just trying to match size for size. Um, we've done it a little bit last year. We didn't have the most success, but he has to be ready. But it was mainly circumstance.
Gotcha. And as for Russell, do you have an update on him or a status on him for
Yeah,
tomorrow?
Russell went through the entire practice today. Good chance he'll play a little bit, probably not much. Good chance, not 100%.
Quentin,
How you doing, Coach?
Doing well.
I just want to get an update on Garrison Matthews and Rui. I know Rui, you said, was met with the eye doctor yesterday. Any updates on those guys and anybody else who may be going through some type of injury or recovery?
Yeah, Rui is still out. Same eye irritation. It's going to take some time. I don't know how long. Hopefully not much longer, but we're obviously patient and whenever he's ready, we'll have him back. Garrison, he had that hip pointer. He could have played last night, but I didn't want to throw him in there. I mean, he wants to play. He's probably as tough as they come. But he practiced entire practice today, so he might get opportunities to play tomorrow. Brad did not practice today. Sore. I think it's either sore back or I don't know what that's called. Yeah, but he's nothing serious there. We'll see how he feels tomorrow and go from there. Everybody else. DB practiced today, and a good chance that depending on how he feels tomorrow, there's a good chance that he will. Bertans will play tomorrow.
And with Brad, with the sore back, if he is cleared to go tomorrow and healthy, will he play with Russell or is he going to sit the last preseason game out?
Yeah, I mean, if Russell does play, he will definitely play. If they're both feeling great tomorrow, but there's no reason if they're not feeling up to ready to play, we're not going to put them out there in an exhibition game, last one. Neither of them. They should be fine for sure for the first game, but maybe they play tomorrow. We'll see. It's going to be a wait and see till how they feel tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
any other questions? Ava?
Ava, come on, Ava.
Yes, sorry, I always raise my hand too late. That's my problem. With just one exhibition left, Scott, I know you said the starting spot is still open and it'll stay fluid, but what do you need to see from your guys who are still competing for that starting spot?
Well, I mean, it's kind of, I mean, it's I'm not making an excuse, but it's a little challenging for everybody because even last night we didn't have really potentially five of our or four of our starters. I mean, if you want to throw Bertens as a potential starter, Brad only played 14 minutes. So guys are playing different spots that they or different roles that they probably won't play when we're whole. But it's still open. There's one more game today. Was a very competitive. It's one of our better practices. Very competitive. But it's we still have one game and a couple more practices before we have to make that decision. But I'm kind of leaning one side. I'm leaning one way, but I'm going to keep that between myself and the staff. So anybody don't text me tonight and ask.
You foiled my plan. With all of the kind of changing lineups and everything like that, is that why you're kind of hammering down on you need to see guys? I think you said it about Denny, like playing his minutes hard last night. Is that almost grow in importance because you know that guys are playing all over the floor and not necessarily in their natural position?
Yeah, I mean, it's also it's great that they do get opportunities they probably would have never received, but it's also tough to make those decisions because a lot of times they're playing a role that they're not, at their best. I thought last night was the case on a few guys, but I try to factor all that in. I mean, I'm half joking that we have a guy already, but it's still open. It's still up in the air, and it's going to be, probably fluid unless somebody really just nails it down and doesn't want to give it up with just great play. But we also understand we have if it's not Bertans, he's going to play a lot of those minutes. So I mean, he practiced today. I mean, it's amazing. Not that I forgot how well he shoots it, but you kind of forget how well he shoots it with guys trying to contest because he shoots it so high, and he's obviously a pretty good athlete, and his shots are very rarely contest, and you think it's contest, but it's really not. But I thought the next couple of days of practice after tomorrow night's game is going to be pretty good for the competition.
Yoko?
Hi, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I just want to make sure that is Rui doing some individual workouts?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. It's still the eye irritation. He has some, I think, blur. It's like a little blurry vision. So he's definitely not doing anything. I don't know if he's going to do anything today, but he's definitely not here today. This morning. So all I'm hearing is it's getting better. It's going to takes a few more days probably.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll take a couple more. Fred?
Scott, Brad has talked with us a couple of times now about how one of his goals from the offseason was to be able to take deep threes. If he's able to do that consistently, that means you could have lineups with two guys with him and Davis who are able to shoot from 27 or something. How does that change the dynamic of your offense if that's the case?
Well, I mean, it gives you a lot more spacing. I mean, he did win our deep three point shootout the other day. He outshot DB from distance. I mean, these guys shoot it. It's effortless, and the range. It definitely helps. When you have Russ on Ish on the floor, that their speed and their change of direction, their strength and their power that goes downhill is pretty important. And if these guys have to be guarded and covered to 25 to 28 feet out, it only opens up those lanes and seams. But those two guys, out of everybody on our team, there's really not a limit I will put on their 3-point shooting. They can shoot up to 27, 28 feet pretty easily.
Neil?
Hey, Coach. Denny was telling us a little bit yesterday about how, it's a culture change for him just coming to the United States. Is there anything that the organization is doing to maybe see if they can somewhat, ease that transition? Or is it much like anything else with the NBA transition, just it's going to take its time to happen?
I mean, it's definitely not. I'm always amazed at the players that I've always coached, the young players, the rookies that are not from the States, how quickly they pick things up, adapt, and being away from family and home, but they all do it. It's pretty incredible. I think our organization does a good job making Danny and his family feel at home. But we do that with all of our rookies. It's a transition for all of our rookies, but I think he's done a good job. But it's like I said, I don't know how they do it. So, I mean, I would have trouble if it was on the other way where I had to go over there and learn a culture, a language. I mean, he didn't have to learn the language, but it's definitely challenging. But I think he's pretty much our organization. I think they do a really good job of getting guys and their families to really feel good about being in DC.
All right, that's all the time we have for Coach today.
Okay,
Appreciate
thank
you.
guys.
What's good, Troy?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Watching the game back again today, you kind of had a slow start in that first half of just getting some reps in, but I mean, the fourth quarter, it didn't even seem like the same player was out there. You were on, you were money. So what was it that changed in your mind of, maybe the flow of the game or what was working for you or what wasn't?
Well, for me in the first half, the hardest thing was we didn't have Rui and we didn't have Davis. So I was playing the 4. And so like I don't ever play the 4. So it made it really hard for me to like kind of like find a flow because at the end of the day, like I was trying to like kind of like help our guards out. Like, like the 4 and the 5, like they set the screens and stuff like that. And so I felt like I was out there overthinking it, like just more so because I was at the 4 position. And then when I went into the second half, I was kind of more back in my comfortable spot of playing the 2, playing the 3, and able to be aggressive. So that's definitely something I have to go back and just look at film and make sure I am capable of playing that position because, maybe I can expand my game through 1 through 4,
And also, I did notice that you're taking more hesitation pull-ups. Like I didn't really see any like those mid-range hezzy pull-ups last year. Is that something you just added to your game just to be a more complete player? What kind of goes into that confidence coming around that mid-range area?
I feel like for me personally, it's just more so about the fact that like some teams like Detroit, like they play that super drop type of like with their bigs and they're dropping them literally all the way to the paint. And so they kind of put you in a bind where like you have to either get off the ball or you take that mid-range shot. And so with the confidence I've like instilled in myself and just like the way I've been shooting the ball this offseason, I definitely feel comfortable taking it. But, I definitely would prefer to get more to the rim.
Appreciate that. Oh, is your eye good? You got a little.
Yeah, I'm good. I got
you pulling a Nelly on me right now. Appreciate it.
Ava?
Hey Troy, kind of going off of that, Scott told us that he told you guys he needs to see more urgency from you after the game last night. How, understanding that that's so much of a challenge when you're not playing your natural position and you don't have all your guys on the floor, like how did you kind of internalize that message? Is it something that goes through your mind where you're like, well, that's going to be so much easier when we actually have all of our guys out there? Or is that something that you kind of have to, that's more internal? Like, I'm wondering how you kind of thought about that.
For me personally, I definitely think it's one of those things that you have to personalize as a person. Even though we don't have everybody out there, especially like with our nature of like coming out like in games and not being ready to play from the start, that's something that we definitely have to take pride in individually, regardless of who's on the court, myself included. And so it's definitely something that's just personal that we have to work on. And, we just got to make sure we jump ahead of it and make sure we're reminding each other like, hey, like we got to go out here, we got to play from this jump.
And considering it has been such a weird preseason, just with everybody sitting out and the weird timeline, what do you feel like you've gotten from these first 2 games? Do you feel like you're in a better rhythm now?
Yeah, for me personally, for me, like this year, the biggest thing is just like being able to mentally go through the ups and downs and not be fazed by it. That's the biggest thing that I've been working on. Like I said, like just talking about like last game, like I don't think I scored until like the fourth quarter. Like, like that didn't bother me because I already knew, like I know who I am as a player. And so it's just more so doing what the team needs. And so if I need to play the 4 in order for us to win, that's what I'm going to do. But at the end of the day, it's just more so of not letting my confidence waver.
Thanks, Troy.
Yeah.
Neil?
Hey Troy, you've told us before how you wanted to take, a little bit more of a leadership role, especially, last year with the bubble and this being an overall very young team. There was a moment, I believe, in the first preseason game where you were talking to Denny and explaining something to him. I'm curious, what that was, and if you don't remember, just any general advice that you've been giving to the rookies so far.
I don't remember particularly that play, what I was saying to him, but pretty much like just for me personally, like with Denny he reminds me of myself a lot, like just the way he plays and like how versatile he is and that stuff. And so like when I came into the league, I felt like we had a lot of vets on our team, but I didn't really have a chance to like have anybody that was like close to my age, kind of like tell me the ins and outs and like, the little stuff that'll help me and make him look like more sharp. So I definitely kind of take more pride in the data, just like telling him little stuff. At the end of the day, he was a pro overseas and he's a pro here. He knows how to play the game, but it's just little stuff to try to, take the pressure off of him because I know that transition isn't easy. So
Could you give an example of what you're terming as quote unquote little stuff?
Like for example, I'll say something like, okay, somebody will drive the ball on the right side of the court and Denny will be in the corner. And in his head, he's thinking, okay, I need to help my teammate out because my teammate's beat. But at the end of the day, that's not his job. If you're in that strong side corner, you stay on the 3-point shooter because we don't want to give up the strong side three. Just stuff like that where he has good intentions, but it's just like, hey, like that's not like technically the right thing to do. And so just kind of giving him pointers on that so that he doesn't just keep on making the same mistakes over and over.
Thanks, Troy.
Yeah.
Fred.
Hey Troy, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing, Fred?
Just kind of building off on Denny. I'm kind of curious because you're both kind of like you have similar basketball mentalities, at least with the way that you play.
Yeah.
With your conversations, like how have you learned that he sees the game? Do you consider him more of is he a study guy? Is he an instincts guy? Like how would you describe his basketball mentality?
I would definitely say instincts, just because of the fact that he's played at a high level overseas. And so, like, with a guy like that, he knows how to play the game. It's just more so about him feeling comfortable and feeling more relaxed. And, you know, like, especially coming in as a rookie, like, I already know how all that is, like, you know, dealing with, like, the stuff going on and, like, making all the adjustments off the court. And so, like I said, just making him feel more comfortable and letting him know, like, hey, it's going to be okay, but, like, you need to do this and do that. And so just little stuff to help him. At the end of the day, like I said, he's a pro and he gets it. So.
Thanks, Troy.
Yep.
All right, last question, Ben.
Hey Troy, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
A few days ago, someone had asked Scott Brooks about whether you'll play point guard this season, and he seemed to suggest that's not your position, even though you played that in the bubble. With that being said, would you like to play point guard this season, and have you talked to coach about your role in that regard?
Not really. I mean, at the end of the day, like my versatility is what makes me me. So regardless of whatever position I'm at, that is what helps me be the player I am. So, you know, that gives us the accessibility to be able to move me everywhere and be able to do things. You never know with guys getting hurt and with substitutions and mid-season, you know, so much stuff can change. And so it's just being able to be available and to be able to play those different positions, you know, it stuff could change in the middle of the season. It's a long season, but whatever we need to do to win, that's the position I'm going to play. And so yeah, the point guard stuff doesn't really concern me too much.
All right, thanks, Troy. Appreciate you.
For sure. Appreciate y'all.
Hey, Thomas. Scott Brooks has been talking to us a lot about just like establishing more urgency. I think that was the word that he used last night. After going over tape or practice today, what do you feel like you guys need to do on defense at the start of the games? And will that get easier once you have everybody on court pretty much?
Really I feel like we have to do on defense is just communicate more often. We have to have constant talk out there on the defensive end. We're not a team that can just go out there lackadaisical and just think that we can perform at our best when we're really not that team. You know, we're not a team that switches the on and off switch. We have to keep that switch on and maintain it throughout that first quarter, especially. You know, last two times we played in the first quarter, we got punched in the mouth. We got to respond to that, and I think that's our biggest thing going forward into the next game.
Quentin.
What's up, TB?
What's up?
After the addition of Robin Lopez, Scott Brooks and a lot of the guys on that staff said that was really a guy that they could bring in to kind of push you on defense and kind of teach you those veteran ways of playing defense as a big. So last night you had 4 blocks. It's working, whatever you're doing out there. What have you learned from Robin Lopez so far, just practicing with him?
Basically just placement and movement, you know, being more aware on the defensive end, always being in constant looking, constant rotation, and being in the right spot at the right time as well. You know, especially, you know, some of that things come from being in the fire, just learning from it, past experiences. And then also, you know, with great vets with Robin, you know, you got Russ, Brad there. That's always going to help you as well. It's really good, you know, to have those guys with you.
Appreciate that, TB.
Thank you.
Fred.
Hey, Thomas. Last night you played a bunch of minutes next to Mo, and you had some moments last year where you played alongside other conventional bigs, but for the most part, you were on like kind of more modern guys. Does it affect your game at all, the way you play when playing next?
Say that last part again.
Yeah,
Fred?
does it affect the way that you play, the way you operate on the floor when you're playing with another big compared to when you're not?
No, I try not to let it affect me at all. We have reps in practice where we've been on the same team as well, and we try to help each other out, big to big passing in any way, shape, or form, or try and make it as easy as possible. It's different, so we got to get used to it. It takes a lot of time, a lot of reps, and a lot of times just doing it over and over again sometimes. But I feel like our little communication and thing is gonna get better and better as time goes on.
Thanks, Thomas.
John Gibson.
Hi, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, doing a story on Dewey Hachimura, and I just wanted to get a couple questions in. What differences have you noticed about him coming into this season, and how's the communication with him?
His communication has gone up. His defensive efficiency has gone up. His offensive efficiency is super, super aggressive, and it helps us in so many ways. Rui has improved so much, and you can see it from his game from in the summer when we played, I believe, in LA together to what he's doing now is absolutely marvelous. It's great.
Chris Miller.
TV, what's up, brother?
How you doing, Chris?
Hey, man, keep it 100 with me. What was the deal with you and Blake last night? And because you guys play again tomorrow, it's kind of like a playoff thing where you don't play another team. You see him again in like a couple of hours.
Man, ain't no bad blood, man. That's all it is. It's just a battle of the game going on, just heated moments. That's all it is.
I'm laughing because what gets you going is your energy level. And I thought your energy level last night was really good. I want to ask you about shot blocking. We heard a lot of, the front office, the coaches, fans, media all said in the offseason during the draft and free agency, Wizards have to go get some rim protection. Did you hear that? And did you use that as any motivation coming into this season?
I really didn't look at it or hear any of it. I try and stay apart from that social media and like he say, she say stuff. I try and be really real with myself and look myself in the mirror and see if I need to improve or if I didn't improve on anything, I need to do it. And I felt like rim protection was a real big thing for me. I thought about it for a while, even before going into the bubble. I need to protect that rim more often. And that was my biggest thing on the defensive end, was try to be more of a rim protector. If I'm a 5 and I'm down there playing with the bigs, I have to use my strength and ability. Like I do all this stuff in the off season when we come back, and I have to utilize that and do it in the game. And I really was emphasizing that on defense, especially with me.
Appreciate it.
Quinn, do you have another one?
Last question. After you hung up, like you hung on the rim yesterday, that would have been that was your second technical. Were you aware that technical foul did not count towards an ejection for you? Or you were just happy to be in the game still after that?
Happy to be in the game. I'm not.
Appreciate it, too.
Ava?
Yeah, Thomas, sorry, this might be a ignorant question, but how, when you are in the off season, how do you specifically go about getting better at rim protection? Is it a mindset thing? Like, are there ways you got stronger?
Yeah, ways I've got stronger is basically legs and movement wise, and then actually going out there and doing it. Believe you said it before, just actual reps and everything, and just going out there and being aware of it. Like, this is my job. This is what I have to do to help this team. And I feel like I can do that to help this team, succeed in any way, shape, or form. And, I feel like my teammates feel the same way. The coaches feel the same way. And I want to continue to do that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, last question here from Karita.
Hey, Thomas, yesterday, Denny, he was sharing how this is all a new experience for him and he's still learning and getting better. What have your observations been of him in practice and these preseason games?
He's been a sponge. He's been a real good sponge. He's trying to absorb everything. I know we move at a fast pace and we expect a lot and want a lot from him, but we know that he can give it to us. And, he's been very coachable. He's been honest with us and just really trying to ask questions and see where he could fit in, on the offense and defense. And just seeing what he can do to help this team. And that's really what we need from him. And for him to be aggressive, what he's been doing has been really great for us as well.
All right, appreciate you, Thomas.
Appreciate it.